Yes, so guys, I might kick off in the interest of time, but we let people just keep joining as we're going here. So, good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to this webinar based on the importance of YouTube. So, if I'm right, I think this is our sixth webinar from Enterprise Ireland UK over the last number of weeks, looking at how companies can build their brand awareness. And if there are any newcomers that are joining this call that want to see our last webinars, you're more than welcome to find them on our Enterprise Ireland YouTube channel, which is very fitting for this call, I'm sure. Before we begin, a couple of housekeeping rules. So this webinar the recording will be condensed, so there'll only be parts of it that will be available on our YouTube channel afterwards, just to let everyone know right now. And also I'd like to let you or direct you to the Q&A box at the end of your screen and invite you to ask any questions that you may have throughout the webinar into this box, and we will aim to answer them as the webinar comes to a close. It's just a quick run through. You'll be sick of hearing from us now, but I am the market advisor for consumer retail for Enterprise Ireland UK, based in our London office. And it was myself, Anna Butler, market exec for consumer retail, and Evan Lynch, who's a market advisor for global marketplaces, that have been putting together this series over the last number of weeks and months. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to the likes of ourselves. I'm sure you've ample emails from us in the inbox. I have been joined today by Harmony Murphy of Google and Helena Dingley of Ella and Joe to speak through all things YouTube and social media. So if you don't mind, guys, I might ask you to both just give a bit of a quick introduction, and I'll come to yourself first there, Harmony, please.
Thank you so much, and such a pleasure to be here today. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I head up the retail team here at Google. Prior to that, I was the ex-managing director at eBay, and my background is working with retailers from homes and gardens, FMCG, all the way to luxury and fashion. So a breadth of knowledge, and I hope to share a lot of that today with you relating to YouTube. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And I'll jump to you there as well, please, Helena.
Hi guys, I'm Helena and I am a e-commerce director in Ella and Joe, and my background is mainly e-commerce and marketing, and I'm representing the Irish SMEs today, and delighted to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Again, great to have yourself there too. So just briefly before I hand it over to yourselves, to run through a quick agenda. Of course, when I'm finished this introduction, I will hand it over to Harmony to talk about all things YouTube and how brands can best utilize the platform when building your brand presence. When Harmony's finished her lovely presentation, we will then go to Helena, who will discuss how YouTube has had an impact on Ella and Joe as a growing brand. After this, we'll go to the Q&A with all of the lovely questions that I'm sure will come in throughout the two presentations before we come to a final close, where I will tell you about our final webinar of this series. So I'm sure we're in for a good hour here anyways. So with this, I might hand over to Harmony if you'd like to share your screen. I'll stop sharing here.
E-commerce director in Ella and Joe, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the brand Ella and Joe and our journey utilizing YouTube as a source to scale within Ireland and the UK. So just a little bit, first of all, about Ella and Joe. Ella and Joe is Ireland's fastest skincare brand, founded by Niamh and Charlene, seen here. And Niamh and Charlene are both skincare experts. And in 2017, they created the brand Ella and Joe. So they saw a gap in the market for results-driven products, but with that fun, that positivity element, that bringing joy back into skincare, and it's carving out a little bit of me time. So whether it's a few more moments in the start of the day or in the evening time, to use that few moments to do your skincare, to carve out a little bit of well-being and non-negotiable me time moments. So we are gaining a lot of traction within Ireland. And, you know, skincare is very much a saturated market, but with this, with our skincare and with the products that have that sensory element and that well-being element to it, and on the back of the award-winning products, because the products, the formulations have won many awards. And I think, you know, we've won many awards, and even publications such as the other week, British Vogue marked out one of our products, the cleansing balm, as their top 10 product. So I think on the back of that, we are gaining a lot of momentum, both for our products, but also for our marketing as well. So in terms of our marketing and our content pillars that we use across all of our platforms, we keep it to these 5 things, which is education. So I mentioned even Charlene, our experts in the...
I might just jump in there. There's just a square on your screen. I don't know if it just moved over a little bit. It's not come through on ours, but it's just blocking out some of your content there.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Let's see. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So sorry. So in terms of education, they have that expertise, and we use that in a sense that people may not have those expertise, how to use a product, in what order to use the product. So that's important for us in terms of content. Inspiration led, then, of course, everybody loves to know the skincare trends, celebrities, seasonal campaigns. In terms of the community, the roots of the brand actually is from people referring a friend or word of mouth. It's actually how I got to know the brand, and it started as a social brand from social media. So we still actually use a lot of UGC content, behind the scenes, and community events for that, and customer events. The products, of course, we talk about our new launches and the products themselves, and the self-care part of it. Hopefully you can see that now. The self-care part of it is very important to us, because obviously this is the niche that we have. This is the ethos of the brand. Our demographic is 35 plus. So, very busy group of people that just to carve out those few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the evening in terms of your skincare. So just to talk about then Ella and Joe and YouTube. So Ella and Joe use YouTube as a method of attracting new users and new customers to the brand. As an Irish brand, we are one of the most with the most amount of views and engagement on YouTube. Now, our subscriber base is low, but I will talk about that in a little bit. And I just want to, I guess, as talking on behalf of an SME here, talk about why YouTube, because I think, at the moment for a Irish brand, there is so many different channels, so many different social media channels, and there's a lot to think about, really. And I think sometimes YouTube can be forgotten about, really, in terms of content. So content is a huge thing for any brand at the moment, but sometimes we can forget about uploading it to YouTube. Now, we have prioritized this in the last few months, and it's really worked for us. And I think just a few things to keep in mind in terms of an Irish brand is that, YouTube, it is the second biggest search engine in the world. So I think even in that, you need to appear as a brand. The connected TV part is hugely important for us. So like we have our advertisements obviously on YouTube, and you can go into any household in Ireland, whether it's teens, tweens, adults, YouTube is on the TV, and you can see your advertisement there. So it's kind of like the traditional advertising through connected TV. It's evergreen content for us. The content that's on YouTube is more relevant, and it's more long lasting than content in other channels. So you might get, and actually Harmony just touched on it there in terms of little snippets on, for example, TikTok, but you will go to YouTube to see the full interview, what actually happened, and it has that perpetual reach in terms of a brand as well. It's a wide audience base, so we can actually carve into audiences that we can't in other platforms. There is a large percentage of male audience on YouTube, and this is particularly important for gifting season, for Q4 for us. Obviously we can target our demographic, but just it's an easy way to tap into that audience. The amount of time spent on YouTube. So we know the average user on TikTok, I think it's spent about over an hour on TikTok every day. But actually on YouTube, the viewers spend just under an hour every single day, followed by Facebook, followed by Instagram. So I think for a brand, it's very important to be showing where the amount of views daily on a platform. And then just in terms of our creators, the creators there that use YouTube, I don't know if it's probably the long form content, but that brand loyalty, we find it works a little bit better for us in terms of YouTube. So just in terms of our strategy then and where we are at the moment, so we take, like, it's all intertwined and it is a full funnel approach. We break it down into three methods, which is paid ads, our organic channel, and creators themselves. And first of all, just in terms of paid ads, switch that over. So for paid ads, we use at the moment as part of our demand generation campaigns and performance max campaigns, YouTube advertising. So demand generation campaigns would be more towards awareness, and then performance max would probably be more in the consideration phase. We obviously use some retargeting there as well. And we find it works very, very well for reach, for impressions. Our most popular one for use would be our skippable ads, and after that in stream, and followed by shorts. And then our organic channel is very important to us. When we upload our video content onto our organic channel, we make sure we put in the title, descriptions, keywords, because, you know, at the end of the day, YouTube is a search engine. So you want to make sure that your video is actually appearing. And then thumbnails and end screens is so important. So to be instantly recognizable when people see your video, to have your end screen with your logo. The date of the videos also, I think it speaks volumes when you actually go on to a brand's YouTube channel and you see, you know, they uploaded a video maybe eight months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. It's just important to continuously to think about uploading to your organic channel. And then I guess in terms of organic channel, the control of your voice. So if you're not uploading videos there, or if you aren't on the channel at all, you are allowing other people to speak about your brand, because people are searching for your brand on YouTube. So if you're not there and you've no content, you're allowing other people to speak about it in terms of reviews or whatever else. And then the last one in our strategy is our creator strategy. So we use influencers, and in their contracts, let's say if we're using them from Instagram, we will actually also ask them to upload, or we will upload in our organic channel, their content. And likewise, we actually use other companies such as One Beauty Buddy, which it delivered free Ellen Joe products to influencers who then went on to review about the products on YouTube. And this really helped with our reach, really helped with the engagement and views as well. I did mention before, we are on a journey. We are only scratching the surface really in terms of YouTube. And the next one for us, I mentioned earlier, our subscription level is quite low. So we want to increase that, because we want people to be able to get those alerts when we have new products launching, how-to videos, all of that. And we're going to run campaigns for people to subscribe to our channel. And also I mentioned we are, you know, using it at the moment for awareness and consideration, but we want to move down lower on the funnel. And that's a great thing about YouTube as well. It has that full funnel approach, and we want to link our merchant feed to our ads, so to be able to shop from there. So I think the most thing, even just to take away from the webinar today for an Irish brand, is to look at your organic channel, to start posting on your organic channel. Content is a huge part for every Irish brand at the moment. And we have lots of content, but we may just forget to go that extra step. I think with shorts at the moment, it's really, really good to repurpose that content really easy in terms of sizing, just to upload. But if you need to resize in terms of the longer form, it's well worth it. And then once you start to work on your organic channel, then to go ahead and work on your paid advertising as well. That's everything from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was great to see a brand in action on YouTube across your journey and see what's really working for yourself. So thank you so much for sharing that. I will say again, the thumbnail with the macaroons and the lip oil, I kind of want to go get one out of that as well, so you can see how it's enticing.
I'll send you one, Rachel.
That sounds great. One for everyone in the audience, no. So guys, look, thank you so much for that. We have had a lot of questions come through, so I might just start firing them out if that works with yourselves. So Helena, to come to yourself there as well, a question that came in, of course you're on your brand journey at the moment, and you've with YouTube, and you're doing it over the last number of months. You said it's made a difference, but how have you been quantifying the difference that it's made? Is that through subscribers or followers, or can you give a bit of insight on that, please?
Yeah, so at the moment it is in terms of reach, so it's views, impressions. So we're finding some video content that we've posted. We obviously use TikTok, we use Meta and YouTube now as well, and we find some content on YouTube might have a lot better reach in terms of impressions and views than the exact same content on other platforms, and vice versa, and different channels. So we're at a learning point at the moment in terms of what works for each one. But I think it's something that I think in terms of you need to kind of divide your content into brand and maybe then more into product how-tos or functionality. And for us at the moment, the brand or the advertisement ones are working very, very well on YouTube that may not necessarily work as well on the other channels. So I think in terms of then reach and people getting to know your brand, hear about your brand, those brand videos that you do work considerably well on YouTube.
Okay, that's great. And that kind of answers another question that came through. How does this help, these stats help shaping your content going forward? So that's great to know that the branding side is what's working for yourselves. And I have a question coming in here as well. What advice would you give to a brand that's starting out on YouTube? And they've put a couple of different points in here, so I might read through in full, and I can bring it back to your attention then as well as we go. But they focused on which placements are best to start off with for beauty brands. How would you recommend building subscribers? And would Google lead gen campaigns be a good call to action? Oh, apologies, actually, before I come back to that. Helena, I've jumped away from yourself there. How did you find, what do you find works for yourselves in terms of posting frequency?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the shorts works particularly well for us in terms of it's that quick snippets. It's quite easy. We've lots of that content anyhow, through Instagram, and it can be repurposed for shorts as well. So in terms of, ease of use and ease of being able to upload, that's a great feature. But also it does work because we can clearly shorts are a little bit longer now as well, and we can clearly show the functionality of the product in those seconds. I would play around with the long form as well, because even Q&As and you can upload your lives onto YouTube. So I think it's a combination of all, but I think of the most easiest one for brands to start off would be to upload to shorts.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Just to go back to that long question that I have inside there as well. Very much, what advice would you give to brands that are starting out on YouTube? Which placements are best to start off with for beauty brands? We'll start with the advice, I suppose, and then we can break this down a little bit further.
For us, we use demand generation and PMAX, and we're basically using Google's AI to better place our YouTube advertising for best reach. That's our KPI at the moment. So I think in that way, it's just using those two campaigns have worked considerably well for us. And I can't remember what was the second part of the question. In terms of subscriptions. So yeah, so like I just showed on the screen, that is something that we are going to implement to increase our subscription base and to have that as our KPI on a campaign to help with to increase the subscriptions of our channel. Of course, obviously, the more organic content you add to your channel as well, the more people are going to find it and people will subscribe.
Great, thank you very much, guys. I'm a little bit conscious of time here, so I might just give one final question to you both, if that's okay. But a bit broad here as well, but how do you see the role of YouTube evolving for brands over the next couple of years? Helena, I'll come to yourself there.
Yeah, I think actually AI, obviously, that is going to be the one that will shape everything. I think for SMEs in terms of YouTube, I think that we will start to prioritize it more when we see that full funnel approach and how it can be used. But I think also, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult in terms of benchmarks and industry standards and what's a good result on YouTube. And I think with more of that applications for YouTube, it will make it easier for SMEs to really utilize it, and because it's such a great facility to have. So so I think it's definitely the way forward, and for brands to really start to take it into consideration and to prioritize it.
Perfect, guys. Thank you so much. We're just going up to the end of the hour here, but thank you both so much for joining and for sharing your insights and so on as well. And thanks for everyone else that has joined and asking their questions as well. I hope everyone has found this as insightful as I have. I might just quickly plug our very last webinar of the series, if that's okay, before we jump off here. So just to share my screen, I hope everybody can see this here. So the next webinar is, again, building brand awareness in the UK market, but we're moving for the last one offline. So we're looking at engaging with retailers. So we have a panel coming on to join us. So we have Duncan Tennant. He's the Director of Strategic Partnerships for Sea Salt Cornwall, and he's also ex-M&S for 13 years. We have Jill Butterworth, who's the Global Chief Brands Officer for Rarely Heard Voices. And she's also been retail director in Aspinall of London. She's worked with House of Fraser for a good stint, and Burberry. We have Laura Brown, who's the managing director. Laura Brown is the director of Aspinall of London at the moment. Excuse the slide. She was previous retail director for the Dubai Mall and also of Harrods. And then we have Brendan Dorian, who's the managing director of Rarely Heard Voices Consultancy as well. So they're going to come on to talk about what makes a brand stand out in the eyes of a retailer. So when you've built your brand presence online and you're finally getting in front of the right buyer and so on, and you really want to stand out and impress, how you can best do so. And then also speaking about the, although we're saying offline, but also the online and the emergence of marketplaces for different retailers and the importance of this for retailers when testing the market with new brands. So this should be a really insightful and engaging webinar as well. And I will send out the registration link to first thing tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for that as well. But for right now, guys, again, thank you so much for your time to both Alina and to Harmony. And I really enjoyed this webinar. I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you, guys.